Masantos siya kapusan at sige namin, naimbang nga bigat tayo amin apo, magandang Friday morning Pilipinas. I'm former Secretary Hernani Braganza po from President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo's administration.
Good morning. I'm Attorney Barry Guttierez, the spokesperson of former Vice President Leni Robredo. And we are the Spokes. From the Palace Halls and the OPP then to our group chats now.
We'll give you perspectives from an insider's position standing behind the podium.
On noted by the Spokes, Super Typhoon Inday has slightly weakened but remains a strong typhoon. Nagsuspend ng classes ngayon eh.
Objection! That's the word for the weekend. Objection!
Kala ko Inday yung word for the weekend.
Yeah.
Hindi, pero nagsuspend ng classes kaya papunta dito maluwag eh.
Umikot to eh. Originally, ang ruta nito, north.
Oo nga, tama.
Went south.
Northern Luzon.
But it will exit sa north. Sa amin palagi kasi ang exit. Northern Luzon.
Talagang ikaw lagi binabagyo ah.
Oo nga eh. Kasi nandun yung Baguio City.
Parang ang Edwin Lachère na joke yung ganyan.
Ano?
Parang Edwin Lachère na type joke yung ganyan.
Yun ang ouch. To be compared to a handsome guy. Lugi naman siya. Ouch.
Pero at least mukhang hindi magme-make ng landfall anywhere in the Philippines, and you know that's good.
You know, ang experience namin kasi sa north, kahit hindi nag-landfall, kapag malakas po yung hangin at nag-steady, that's the most biggest damage na nangyayari po sa amin. So, yun ang problema. So, in other words, we would rather na umalis ka kagad, 'di ba? Kahit hindi ka mag-landfall. Something worse even happened sa north eh. Nagsalubong dalawang bagyo. So, massive destruction ho talaga.
Pag may dalawang nagsama, di ba, parang nire-reinforce nila yung isa't isa.
Yes, nagkukuha na ng lakas. Yung isa mahina, bigla ganon lang eh. Tapos meron siyang effect na ipo-ipo. So, be careful po sa ating lahat, not only in Northern Luzon but all over the Philippines.
Yes.
It's typhoon season actually already.
Oo nga,
It's rainy season as well. So, mag-ingat po.
Para sa ating mga estudyante, ayan, first suspension of the typhoon season.
First suspension.
Mukhang, today.
Okay.
Although, walang pasok, pero mukhang hindi naman, well, thankfully, hindi naman malakas ang ulan at ang hangin.
Is this directive coming from the national or from the local government?
Local governments na nagdi-declare ngayon eh.
Nagbago na ho kasi yung pagdi-declare ng mga suspension ng classes. Minsan malakas ang ulan, walang suspension, kasi expected yung bagyo bukas, biglang magkakaroon sa suspension, wala namang ulan. Yun lang ho.
So, by tomorrow daw, mukhang mag-e-exit na naman ng Philippine Area of Responsibility.
Well, again, we do hope so.
Yeah.
Pero, kwanto kasi, may naiiwan kasi na kwan eh. May naiiwan na hangin pa rin minsan. So, we've experienced, bumabalik yung bagyo.
Tama.
Sa amin itong news na to, parang, okay, di ba?
Cautious optimism, ganun ba?
Yes. In fact, in the last typhoon, yung bahay namin was built in 1917. Yung last typhoon.
1917?
Yes,
Wow.
1917.
Wow.
Nilipad yung kalahati ng bubong ng bahay namin. Ganon yon. So, for the first time, yung kapatid ko, madaling araw, nakapayong sa loob. Tuwan-tuwa yung apo ko. No. This is actually true.
Okay.
So, you know.
Yeah. Pero kahapon si Atty. Zulaika Lopez, humirit din ng ganyan eh. Maghanda na daw kay Typhoon Inday. So, ibig sabihin ba niya yung typhoon na to o may iba siyang ibig sabihin? Tingin mo.
Well, I think Atty. Lopez, di ba? Am I correct? Is from Davao.
Chief of Staff ni VP Sara.
Okay. Nagkataon naman na pangalan no yung bagyo ngayon na Inday. So, actually, we really don't know. But since she was in the Senate, di ba? Probably it could have a different meaning. Yun lang siguro ang ibig sabihin.
Okay.
So, and I think she's going to testify. Was she subpoenaed?
Pinangalanan siya nung prosecution as one of the 3 witnesses na tatawagin next week.
Okay. So, siguro, double meaning. To me, that's a double meaning. Okay. Kasi the VP's popular nickname is also Inday. Inday Sara, the VP. Inday Sara. So, very popular. So, nagkataon na Inday. Siguro, technically, may correlation na wala, but you'll never know. It's politics.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Pakihinaan.
okay. Also noted by the spokes, Manila roads are diverted, some close to vehicles today in preparation for a possible rally by United People's Initiative.
Manila, EDSA. Oh, okay.
Ayan.
So, this is practically, the rally will be in Manila. At may warning na magiging busy itong mga kalsada, mga kalye o mga tulay na to. So that includes Ayala Bridge, eastbound lane, Ayala Boulevard, Liwasang Bonifacio, the traditional venue for rallies. Southbound lane or MacArthur Bridge.
So,
Plaza Lacson.
Manila talaga to.
Manila
talaga to. Pero at least ngayon, meron ng abiso.
May abiso, yes.
So yung mga dadaan
that.
dyan can already explore alternate routes.
I would assume these people or the leaders of these people, led by General Pokis, requested for a rally permit. So napag-uusapan naman kasi yan.
Oo nga.
Napag-uusapan naman kasi yan. Pero minsan, kahit may permit o walang rally, you still pursue. Protesta nga eh. But,
talaga speaking from experience.
Oo, ikaw nagturo sa akin nun eh. Di ba? Oh. The rally will run from 3 to 11 p.m.
So today lang talaga? This afternoon hanggang this evening? Parang ganon, no?
Yes, but sorry sa experience ko kasi namin, normally it starts in the morning, mobilization, peak hapon, tapos we go home at 5 or 6 to avoid unnecessary problems that can be caused by infiltrators, etc. down the line.
Infiltrators talaga.
Noon,
may mga nanggugulo eh. No?
May mga deliberate na nanggugulo.
Tama.
Totoo yun. It happened before, it can happen again, or even in the future.
Okay. Balikan ko lang yung Typhoon Inday na nasa Batanes at yung China. Inaangkin ng Batanes. Anong basa mo dito?
Alam mo, hindi na dapat pinapansin to, pero...
Di ba, naglabas ng parang supposedly research outfit. Ni-research daw nila at ang talaga daw may-ari dapat ng Batanes ay China dahil it's part of Taiwan.
Kasi when it comes to the West Philippine Sea, when it comes to the 9-dash line, when it comes to the claims of China, iisa lang ang term ko dyan eh, fake news. That's it. And I will not give them the privilege of discussing it. Because it's fake news.
Besides, ang international community ay sa atin nagsusupport.
Sa atin pumapanig. And you know, that decision also applies to all countries with boundaries from the sea. Yung decision na yun, because it reaffirms UNCLOS. UNCLOS, tama, United Nations for the Convention of the Law on the Seas, di ba?
Yes.
Ang kulang lang talaga doon, enforcement eh.
Tama.
It has no enforcement mechanism. Kaya a big country like China, di ba, can do what it wants, steal our natural resources sa ating karagatan, deny our fisher folks of their catch, and the Filipino people in general, doon sa food natin. Kasi food security is national security. And beyond that, the possibility of having natural resources sa ating karagatan, which they might want to exploit and use for their own. Yun lang. Yun lang medyo nakakakuan dito.
Okay.
No, that's not fake news. Totoo yun. Okay.
These are the headlines noted by the spokes today. The latest on U.S. immigration updates when the spokes return
After this short break.
The spokes is back as U.S. immigration policies continue to evolve. Green card holders, work visa applicants, and those seeking permanent residency are now facing new challenges.
Joining us is a Filipino-American lawyer from New York. Hindi po Cubao to ha. New York, United States. Whose own story is the very definition of the American dream. Welcome to Spokes, Attorney Nicolas Caraquel.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Yes, okay.
So, you practice immigration
Yes.
in the U.S. Ano? So, anong status ho ngayon ng mga Filipino community there? Legal or
Not so
illegal?
legal.
Not so legal.
Undocumented. Yes.
Under the undocumented under the Trump administration.
Well, the Trump administration really did not come as a surprise kasi this is his second term, correct? During
Okay.
his first term, ganon din yung tono ng kanyang policies is being chaotic, but it's also been challenging. The difference now is stricter enforcement, and it's not only affecting the undocumented, but even the people with legal status has been being challenged now. So, kung narinig mo sa news, even the green card holders are being threatened leaving, either entering the United States or maintaining status in the United States.
But bali follow-up question lang ah.
Sige.
You know, American citizens, regardless of color or religion, because they are non-white, minsan, chine-check ng mga immigration and customs enforcers
Correct?
sa kalye. And sabi nila, ang kwento nila, right now, I don't feel American because even if I'm a citizen, but without my documents, as a sign of proof,
I cannot freely move around.
I can be subjected to questioning, harassment, including detention.
Could be, yes.
Is that true? Is
Yes.
that really happening in the US right now?
Oo. Ang problema kasi, even the Supreme Court, the US Supreme Court has actually issued recent decision that the ICE group could basically question somebody who is actually of different color or speaks a different language, right?
The US Supreme Court?
Yes.
Not
and
the federal court?
No, the US Supreme Court.
Not the state Supreme
No,
Court?
US Supreme Court, right? And people look at that as, okay, discriminatory and so on and so forth. Now, they're weaponing the ICE group. And then, ang problema mo, just like what we are saying, when you are walking along the streets, the enforcement officers doesn't know kung US citizen ka, green card holder ka, or undocumented, correct? So, it's ironic that even US citizens like me are required to bring some documentation of your immigration status, right? But the problem is, your color, your language doesn't prove that you are a US citizen. So, to actually save you from the inconvenience of actually basically being detained for 2 hours or 3 hours just to prove your citizenship, might as well bring some proof of citizenship then. It's either your card na US citizen or US passport and so on. But again, it's ironic, it should not be happening, but it's happening now.
No, but among tourists kasi, ang advice naman sa atin palagi, if you go to
Bring your
anywhere, not
passport.
just the US,
Yes.
is you have to bring your passport with you. If not the passport, an ID, at least to show
least, yes.
your identity. Yun lang naman. But again, US citizens, medyo far-fetched yun. Far out yun, far out.
Yeah, even before, so I entered the United States in 2007, and I was an L1 visa at that time, and then I was traveling from Kentucky to Ohio. And then nag-stop over lang kami sa isang parang public restroom. And then I was speaking to a friend through phone, and he was speaking the Filipino language. And an officer was waiting for me for 15 minutes. And then as soon as I had finished the conversation, he approached me and said, "Hey, what's your immigration status?"
Akala ko mag-order
This was
ng...
2007?
Oh, that was in 2007, right? So
Akala ko magtatanong ko saan bibili ng adobo.
yeah, and again, in the environment now, there are no new laws. It's basically just stricter enforcement of U.S. immigration laws.
Okay. What is the primary reason why Filipinos go to the US or abroad?
Well,
Based on your experience as a US lawyer.
yeah, primarily though, opportunities, right? Economic opportunities, especially sa firm namin, we focus on nurses and teachers, caregivers, and now actually a growing number in our firm. But primarily though, I mean, just job opportunities.
Job opportunities.
Right? And there's a bigger group of the family-based petitions. So, kunwari, fiancé
Reunification,
visa.
family
Yes,
reunification.
basically,
Okay.
Just to taking a step back. Kasi interesting din yung journey nyo to
Oo
get
nga,
to
oo nga.
where you are. One of the things that I heard was you started becoming a breadwinner for your family at 9 years old. Can you tell us about that?
So I have 6 siblings, right? And my mom was a seamstress. My dad is a barber. So you can just imagine.
Teka, from where kayo dyan?
We're from San Isidro, Davao area.
Okay, San Isidro.
Okay. So, 7 kami magkapatid. And then, again, life is difficult then. And when I actually say, are you poor? Yes, I am poor. And I define being poor as if you're not able to have the basic necessities in life, right? So, sa case namin, we cannot afford to eat 3 times a day. So, then you are poor.
I read one of your yung part of your history. You're being asked by your mom to stop studying.
Yes.
at tumulong ng magbenta po ng barbecue.
Yes, I was
Pero
in grade 3.
nagpursige ho kayo.
Oh, I was grade 3 then.
Okay.
So my parents cannot basically afford to send the other siblings in school. So my mom asked me to stop going to school para magbenta ng banana Q in a bus terminal. I mean, am I happy about it? No, of course, right? But then I accepted that fact na, okay, so sige, just to help out the family, I have to do that.
And at the age of 19, you were helping...
9.
Nine.
Yes.
And you also help your siblings na makapagtapos sa pag-aaral.
Right, I think that's what I understood at the time.
That's what you understood at
Yes.
that time.
So how did you go from
Okay.
nagbebenta ng banana Q sa bus terminal sa Davao to becoming a lawyer in the United States?
So then again, I realized very early on though that unfortunately the people around you nagmamatter how they deal with you depending on economic status. And I see that with how my parents are being treated. And I thought na if I have the opportunity to finish college, then I would want to
It
become
would
a lawyer.
matter. It would matter.
Yes.
You're one of the few na ganun ho kasi yung pananaw. Because at this point in time in our educational system, elementary pa lang may dropout na. High school may dropout na. And of the 23 million students from grade 1 to college, less than 3 million finish college. So, by the way, where did you study law? Or where did you take up your college?
So Xavier na. So yun, going back to the grade 3, nandito ako. So I was questioning even God. I was questioning na, hey, bakit ako pahiminto? Right, wala naman akong gastos. Naglalakad lang naman ako papuntang schools. But I had that answer when I finished high school. Kasi nung high school ako, sinabihan na rin ako ng parents ko, oh, you have to stop because we cannot afford.
Yes.
My mom can only promise us to graduate high school.
Okay.
And that's when I understood the reason bakit pinahinto ko ni Lord ng grade 3. Because then, I was the only recipient of the state scholarship awards for Region 11. Which was my ticket then to Ateneo de Davao, finishing industrial engineering.
What you're simply saying is, despite the family hardship, your personal hardship, hindi lang kayo nag-aral. Naging masigasig kayo mag-aral for you to be able to pass that scholarship test. Was
Yeah.
that to you the ticket towards the
That's my
future?
ticket. When I was in fourth year, my parents already said, oh, you're gonna stop. But no, I have to take all the scholarships available to me. Because ayokong magbenta pa rin ng banana Q. I mean, no offense meant to the state members, but I just don't think na, I think I believe at that time na mahirap ka ni pinanganak, hindi mo kasalanan yon. But if you die poor, then it's up to you.
So where did you take up your pre-law course?
Okay, so nag-industrial engineering ako sa Ateneo de Davao. And then, 3 weeks before my graduation, I was
IE?
hired. Yes, IE. I was hired by San Miguel at that time.
Oh,
And then,
nag-work ka for San Miguel?
yes, and then moved to Nestle Philippines. And then, that's the time na, I can financially afford na pala to pursue my law school.
What was it that prompted you na mag-law school? Kasi you're already working.
Yeah.
You're already an engineer. I mean, you're a professional.
Yes, nandun pa rin yung dream mo nung maliit ka pa.
Okay.
And then financially, I think, I can afford not to support myself.
Okay.
So, yun, nag-pursue ako ng law school. So,
Working
working
student?
student. I've been a working student my whole life. Even when I took the New York bar, I was working.
Why from engineering to law?
That's a very good question, though. I was not sure at the beginning.
Okay.
But then,
Why not medicine? I mean,
I don't know, but I think my leaning is towards the law. And then, nung nag-IE ako, we actually work on work standards, labor enforcement, and so on.
that influences
And we do
it.
the reorganization, so which typically is related to the labor law, right? So only then, when I passed the Philippine bar, I was able to connect my expertise on industrial engineering towards practicing law. So I worked for 1 year and a half in the labor group or HR executive, labor relations for Nestle Philippines.
Okay.
Then after that, I moved to the U.S.
you're now a U.S. lawyer. So
Yes.
did you study law there? Or
Hindi
how is the path towards
Right.
being a U.S. attorney?
So I moved to the U.S., but I didn't work immediately as a lawyer. So I still work as an industrial engineer there
Okay.
for Nestle USA.
So yung initial move you to the US was still as an
engineer,
working
yes.
for
Nestle.
No, Nestle. So then I work in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky. So nandun yung factory namin, right? So
Okay.
I think the community there was 50% works for Nestle USA. So
Okay.
magkakilala kami doon, correct?
Yes,
So
yes.
I was invited by a friend in Connecticut. Sorry. So I was promoted 2 years and a half as manager, and I was transferred to the corporate office in New Jersey. And then a friend of mine invited me in Connecticut to just for a Filipino gathering. And then, knowing that I am a lawyer, so then they start talking to me about their problems and immigration and so on. And then I said, have you only consulted an immigration lawyer at that time, you could have saved your status. But alam mo yung mga Pinoy, ayaw magbayad, or there are trust issues with lawyers and so on. And then that prompted me to say, bakit hindi ko nalang ituloy yung pagiging abogado ko?
Sa Amerika?
Sa Amerika.
Yeah.
So then I started contacting the bar in New Jersey, but they will not allow foreign lawyers to take the bar. So they would want me to go back to law school.
Okay.
And I cannot afford to go back to law school and so on. So then I inquired from the New York State. So doon ko nalaman na, basically, Filipino graduates ng law school could actually just review once you submitted the credentials, and then you will be allowed to take the bar, and then take the bar. Then finally, I was able to.
I was asking Attorney Barry, kasi New York boy din tayo, New York ka.
Okay.
Historically, bakit you don't have to study and you can just take the bar? What's the reason behind
Okay,
it?
because the law program kasi dito is patterned with the American
yun
bar.
ang
So yun yung pinaka-reason.
In fact, yun nga, parang decades ago, you didn't even have to take the bar.
Oh, okay.
May cross-practice agreements tayo. Pero of course, long gone.
Napag-aala tayo matanda sa dalawa.
So,
Does that apply to other citizens when it comes
no,
to
not
the...
necessarily though. Nung time ko nag-take ng bar in 2012, I think 30% were Chinese, but they have to take the master's degree before they can take the bar.
No, but this particular privilege, does it only apply to Filipinos because of our history with the United States, or does it also apply to other citizens?
I'm not aware of other countries though, or nationalities, but for Filipinos, yes. But I'm sure for Chinese, they have to take the bar. Even India has to take the master's in law before they can take the bar.
Okay. So when you passed the New York bar, you immediately went into immigration law practice.
So I'm still working for Nestle
Okay.
USA at the time, and then 3 weeks after I take my oath, I have the first case appearing before immigration officer. I was
Okay.
so scared, but in that first appearance, though, I got her approved for the green card,
Wow.
which was been denied twice
Okay.
in 3 states. But again, it was fulfilling at the time. But then I did not jump into the solo practice right away. It took me 5 years to jump into the solo practice because hindi naman ibig sabihin pumasa ka, bigla kang magja-jump, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been well paid as an industrial engineer in Nestle USA. And leaving that, kasi wala namang tatanggap sa akin eh. Right? Even if I say, hey, I graduated from Ateneo or Xavier University, ang sagot lang nila, what's that? Right? Hindi naman nila,
Word that, word that.
hindi naman nila alam yun.
Okay.
So then I tried to apply for other law offices, but because engineer ako, I only have 2 areas of practice that I am very interested in. So it's immigration and patents.
Okay.
It is a known fact kasi na a lawyer, a doctor, or any profession sa US, coming from another state, cannot just practice in other states.
Yes, yeah.
Kasi magkakaiba yung rules, magkakaiba yung batas. So in your particular case, can you practice in other states?
Yeah, because immigration law is part of the federal law, so we could actually
Okay.
practice all over the U.S. or even outside the U.S. Kasi yung clients namin is coming from all over
Yes.
the other countries, right? So ang rule lang niya is for as long as you are actually licensed in one state, then you could actually practice anywhere as far as federal law is concerned.
Other professions na may exemption na katulad po ng practice nyo sa immigration law?
Again, there are only 3 areas that you could actually practice under federal law. That's the bankruptcy law, federal, and then, again, I'm not so sure with taxation, and patents is also one of them. Right.
So finally, you were able to get hired by a law firm?
So, walang tumatawag sa akin.
Okay.
Right, siguro because of my background, and they don't know me really, right? So sabi ko, ayaw niyo ko i-hire ha. So then I started my own law practice. So then I started on Facebook, and that was years ago. And then, from that time on, at that time, kunwari, I focused on the family base. So, fiancé visa used to be 4 or 5 months processing, but my record is of my earliest record was 12 days, but
Wow.
most of my cases were actually one month. And then the spouse visa normally is 9 months, but my record is around 2 months.
Wow.
And then I started posting that on Facebook. And then doon ako medyo nakilala. And then such time...
So paano nagawa yun? What's the secret to...
No, I was just posting it on Facebook. I have
Okay.
nothing to do, siguro, na bored ako. Because I have very good work ethics though. I only
Okay.
I work between 9 to 6 for Nestle. And then after that, I just work on my immigration.
So while you were working to setting up your immigration practice, you were still working for
Yes.
Nestle. Wow.
Correct, yes.
Sa Pilipinas po, ang tawag dyan, may racket kayo.
Yes. And then alam naman sa US yung mga multiple.
Hindi, pero
Yeah.
how many hours a day would you work?
Yeah, hanggang alas 10.
Grabe.
Correct, yes. And then until such time, mga
By the way, sorry, are you married?
No.
You're married to your job or your
Yes.
profession.
Correct.
Wow.
So ngayon,
Okay.
yun tuloy-tuloy yun. And then hanggang dumadami na yung inquiries. And then I told them na, hey, can you call me after 6 o'clock? And then lumalabas na yung, part-time lawyer ka ba? Siyempre wala namang kukuha ng part-time lawyer in the immigration cases. So then my friend from Ecuador actually pushed me to say, hey, Nick, just jump off the cliff and just do your sole
Do it
practice.
full
I think.
time.
Yes, you think you will do well.
Question lang po. Filipinos are known to migrate outside of the country.
Yes.
In the case of US, it depends. And most Filipinos are really familiar on how to go about it because may pamilya ron eh.
Yeah.
Yes.
To guide them.
Correct.
May waiting financial support. Minsan may naghihintay po na trabaho. But you know, the immigration policy of the US depends on who's in control of the White House.
Correct, that's true.
So right now, today, as we speak, you are our guest here. And hopefully, Bilyonaryo News can talk to you because we already are in the US. Di ba?
In Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas. Gusto niya magpa-assign ni Condon. Ni Bobby. What is the most compelling misconception about immigration laws ngayon ng US for Filipinos? What changed under this administration? ng
Okay,
Trump?
so I think the way I see it, especially with the Trump administration though, is especially the tourist visa holders. Kasi
Okay.
ako,
Yes.
I entered the US on a tourist visa. Na they could actually plan to say, I entered the US on a tourist visa, then it opened doors once I'm there. They could actually change status and go into student visa or find their
work
AFAM,
visa,
as they call it.
oh.
And then just, or they could even say, kahit na mawalan ako ng immigration status, okay lang. For as long as makapag-asawa ako ng US citizen.
Okay.
But now, with the latest changes with the Trump administration and with the stricter enforcement, kaya nga, nung last June, we did change the adjustment of status. Adjustment of status means na kung you are physically present in the US and you are married to an immediate relative US citizens, then you can apply for green card. But then, Trump changed that and said na, hindi ka pwedeng dito lang apply ng green card mo, dapat lalabas ka. And that actually caused a lot of problems though. So, going back to the question of the
Meaning you have to go back to your home country.
Correct.
Yes.
And
And
that
wait for
actually-
your green card there.
Yes.
Okay.
Kasi historically, yun naman talaga ang intent ng US immigration law, right? So that's why you notice na when you sponsor a spouse or your kapatid or
Yeah.
your sister and so on, you have to go through the consular process and get your immigrant visa, then get your green card immediately once you enter. But and a bigger number though, once they are married to a US citizen, kahit out of status na sila, they could apply for green card while in the United States. And then they stopped that. Trump administration stopped that. But of course, the federal judge said, no, you cannot do that. That's basically...
Question lang po. Are you familiar with the Blanche versus Lau
Yes.
case ng Supreme Court, US
Correct.
Supreme Court? Na if you are a green card holder, tapos may kaso ka, hindi na automatic na makakabalik ka sa Amerika?
That's
Is
true.
that the essence of that particular
Correct.
decision of the US Supreme Court?
So even before Blanche though, so when when Trump changed this adjustment of status, the stricter enforcement, even yung mga green card holders na even dismiss cases or na-acquit sila, actually have these fears of going out of the US because of the fear of not being able to come back. Now with Blanche, before Blanche, it's very clear. You can only be stopped or not allowed to enter the United States if there is conviction of a felony crime.
Conviction.
So felony dapat.
Correct. Very
Felony.
clear yon. Very
Okay.
clear yon. But after Blanche, the Supreme Court said that even if filing of cases pa lang, wala pang conviction, if the officer at Port of Entry actually says that, there is a crime committed, then they could actually use that to either not allow you to enter or they can be paroled in and then appear before the immigration judge.
But it has to be a felony crime. Kung misdemeanor yan,
Kahit involving moral turpitude,
okay.
simple fraud, theft, pwede na rin gamitin nila yun.
Okay.
To not allow you.
Question
to
lang.
enter.
You're a
Okay.
green card holder. The crime happened in the US. Nahirapan ka lumabas.
Lumapaya.
Applying for the green card from the Philippines, may kaso ka, applies to the same thing?
Applies to the same thing, but the Blanche doesn't apply to cases where nasa consular ka pa lang.
Okay.
Right? It actually applies when you are already a green card holder and then, or waiting for your green card, then lumabas ka. Then that's where the Blanche application starts.
Magandang clarification to kasi
Correct.
again, there are a lot of Filipinos wanting to immigrate to the US.
And again, before Blanche, it's very clear though, only felony cases could actually stop you from getting your green card.
Yeah.
Can you, what are felony cases in the US?
Yeah, felony cases also depends on. That's why you asked before kung pwede ba akong mag-practice in other states?
Yeah, depende
I
sa
can,
state eh.
Right? Kasi criminal law is actually state
Criminal law is
specific.
state law.
One
Well,
common-
may federal criminal
Component,
law.
federal.
Pwede,
Yes,
one common felony case. Minsan kasi if you watch movies, felony
Yeah,
case yan.
murder, homicide, there's no...
Yun yun.
Ayan, yun.
Assault.
Assault.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Sige,
yun yung
sige.
mga bigger. But nowadays, it's becoming difficult because crimes involving moral turpitude could actually involve small cases. Halimbawa,
so
theft.
what is mo? Yeah.
Yung mga theft, yung credit card na
Fraud.
and so on and so forth could actually be used by the officer to stop you from coming in.
Just recently, may Filipina nga na news eh.
Yeah, that was the
800
theft.
billion, 800 million pesos. Ay, $800 million.
That's the UK case.
I
The
think
nurse.
so.
Yes,
Fraudcation. Eh.
Medicare fraud.
Medicare fraud. Yeah. But
So, hindi na ganun ka-secure yung status mo as a green card holder.
Yeah, even the citizens though are not secured anymore kasi nga marami ding denaturalization cases.
Paano yung denaturalization?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the USCIS actually just created a department just to basically go into the... So pag nag-apply ka ng citizenship ngayon, they will go back from the time na kung kunwari nag-apply ka ng tourist visa in the beginning, they will look into if you committed fraud, if there were non-disclosure of criminal history,
Yes.
or even the marital status of... Kasi di ba nung una, also naman, hindi naman kakikita kung you are married and then you declared single kasi mas mabilis yung pagpasok mo. So they are going back to that, and if they actually find out that you've committed some fraud, they can strip you of your citizenship, even if you've been a citizen a long time ago.
Question lang po, because this is in the news very recently. In the border of between the US and Mexico, for example, there are news reports, and it's highlighted sa traditional media, even social media, that the immigration officers were separating the babies from their parents. Is that true?
Well, the concept is the babies presumably are U.S. citizens, and the parents are not, are illegal.
Because they
are
were
not
born
documented.
in the
US.
Okay.
So, ngayon,
Birthright citizenship.
correct. Well, with the of course, the parent would want to stay in the United States, but there are the final deportation order, order of deportation. So again, when you enforce that, then you are basically forcing the parent. But again, to drive the argument that, hey, I cannot leave my baby behind because the baby deserves the U.S. benefits and so on, being a U.S. citizen, ayaw nilang dalhin. Okay. So talagang maghihiwalay kayo kasi
Yes.
if you are going to argue na your baby deserves the right to be in the U.S., then they stay in the U.S. But the parents cannot stay in the U.S. by reason na meron kang anak na U.S. citizen.
Recently, a federal court struck down the $100,000 H-1B
H-1B, yes.
visa fee. And what are the implications of this?
Okay, so kasi nga, majority of those, even the teachers though, relied on the H-1B to be able to work in the U.S. and fill that gap on the teachers' requirement. No. But then, Trump actually imposed the 100,000. So, na-stop yan.
Okay.
And then, they appealed and so on. But the one of the federal courts actually said, oh, that's illegal, that's unlawful taxation, and so on. And they struck down the policy of Trump, but they appealed. So, they actually were just given 1 week, basically, of a breather that, oh, okay, illegal yung 100,000. But then again, the government filed an appeal, so it stays.
So it's pending before the U.S. Supreme Court?
Correct, yes. Okay.
Question, what is the difference between that 100,000 and the so-called golden visa?
Golden visa is if you have 1 million, you can buy your green card.
Oh, pwede ka na.
Right.
Ano,
So
check na.
basically,
Pwede ka na, 1
Si
million daw.
Edwin yun. Nasanay kang si Edwin kasi ang partner mo, di ba?
and it's being implemented though. So so I think it's a better alternative than the EB-5. So basically, the EB-5 also requires $1 million if you would want to invest on the highly urbanized cities. But again, ang daming proseso nun eh. You have to establish your business and so on. Okay. And then they introduced the gold visa. So again, if you have 1 million, you want to pay the green card status, then you can apply.
Nalala ko nung tuloy si Edwin Laciata kasi pati ulit mo eh. So you worked in Kentucky
Before, yes.
So na-meet mo si Colonel Sanders doon?
Not the KFC, no? The founder of the KFC.
Is it now harder than ever to become a permanent resident of the United States? But before you answer this, the spokes will return after the short break.
The Spokes is back, still with Attorney Nick Caraquel. Our hanging question a while ago po, Attorney, is it now harder to become a permanent U.S. resident?
I would say though, kung wala ka namang baggage with regards to committing fraud or criminality, I mean, it should be the same. Then na-struck down nga yung requirement na you have to go back. So, kasi once they issue that memo, 8 days later, they actually withdraw that kasi with the backlash and so on. So, now, even if you are unlawfully present in the U.S., you are married to a U.S. citizen, you can still apply for the green card.
Alam mo, Manong, you are well viewed. Malakas ang viewing ngayon. So, there are questions
Yeah, may mga
coming
live
from
viewer
the
questions
may live
tayo.
viewer question tayo.
So,
Okay.
one is from Geely. Have you taken ICE-related cases from OFWs?
Parang coach ito,
if so, what's the most challenging that you have taken?
So, my firm actually do not accept deportation cases kasi hindi na talaga
Okay.
namin kaya yung case law.
Okay.
Alright? I mean, ethics rules actually says that hindi mo na kaya yung load, you cannot take. So, pag meron kami mga consultations in deportation, nire-refer na lang namin with another Filipino lawyer based in New York. Kasi our case load already is full.
Another question from Baku. Is it true that more or less 200 to 3,000 Filipinos are subject to potential deportation? 300,000?
Yes, the latest number actually says that 4.1 million ang Filipinos ngayon in America.
Sa US, 4.1 million.
Correct. And then 390, I believe, are undocumented.
Undocumented.
So then, they actually are prone or in danger of being deported.
Is there a deliberate attempt to have these people deported based on what you were saying a while ago na merong
Yes. Meron pa rin namang prioritization. Of course, the government cannot actually deport everybody. No?
Yes.
So, naka-priority pa rin. Again, may mga fraud, may mga criminality, and so on and so forth. But, again, in some cities daw, may mga ICE, stricter enforcement. And they are actually allowed to, once you are actually undocumented, then there is the expedited deportation. So, but hindi sila, you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time at that time. Kung
So,
ang reason mo lang is undocumented.
What legal advice would you give sa undocumented Filipinos? What can they do to address yung situation nila?
Correct. Ang recommendation ko talaga sa kanila, kasi each case is different daw. And if they would want to have a peace of mind, kasi yun lang naman ang maibigay ng lawyer mo, is to have a sound legal advice, what's best for you. Because for some cases, maybe voluntary exit would be best for you. Pero kung may other remedies ka naman, right? Kasi even committing fraud or the lower criminality, may mga waivers available for them. And I think that's one of our biggest strengths sa firm namin.
Yun ho bang declaration ng mga US states or cities na yung city nila or state nila is a haven for undocumented aliens like New York at saka California? These two primarily. Does it work?
In a way, it works. Sanctuaries ang tawag
Sanctuaries.
doon, right?
Sanctuary
Because it
cities or
means
states,
that the local government are not helping the federal government enforcing immigration
Enforcing.
law. Right? Even I think in California, they are actually issuing that, hey, you have to, kasi nag-wear ng mask yung mga ICE agents. Right?
Oo nga,
In
yeah.
California, no, you cannot do that. You have to identify yourself, or we are not going to help you with the enforcement. So it does help in those cities protecting the...
Yung deportation, is it random? Meaning different citizens? Or may pinupulo ang isang particular race na gustong mawala ng Amerika sa lugar?
How the prioritization cases though depends on the dates. So
of entry.
chronological pa rin,
Okay.
right? But except when the crime involved is maybe terrorism, maybe expedited.
If you don't mind, let's go through a list of mga immigration myths and facts that
Yeah.
I think a lot of viewers want to understand. So first, does marrying an American citizen still guarantee U.S. citizenship?
Does marry, yes. Pag walang criminality, yes. But hindi diretso citizenship yan. Dadaan mo na sa green card and then
Okay.
citizenship.
Can social media posts affect an immigration
Yeah,
case?
they are do. And that's actually causing much delays of, marrying a U.S. citizen, even outside the U.S., should only be about a year and 3 months, but now it's taking 18 months, 30 months, because now vetting of applicants through the social media posts.
Very specific question lang ko. A US soldier na nasa Iraq or Middle East, di ba, fighting for America, yung asawa niya is hindi pa, parang green card holder, but not Filipina, was arrested and was about to be deported. Despite the fact that marrying a US soldier. So, maraming ganong incidents sa US. So, it creates problem, di ba, doon sa psyche
Yes.
ng mga Amerikano.
I think the way we explain it is chaotic, correct? Kasi nga parang hindi na nagbabalance na, okay, what are the paano na yung contribution ng husband niya, right? In your case though, that they are actually serving the government. But sometimes yung due process kasi, yun yung problema eh. Nawawala na sa with the strict enforcement of immigration laws ngayon. And that's what even the immigration lawyers are suing the government because of the lack of the due process and so on.
Okay.
Okay. Is there still a route for a tourist visa holder to get a working visa? and
Of course,
get work in
yes.
the United
I am
States?
one of them. For as long as you follow the legal way of doing that, correct? So you could basically, it's allowed to go to the U.S. and apply for jobs and so on and so forth, right? But again, that should not be your primary intention. But what I'm saying is, kung kunwari nangyari that you happen to be there and there's a job opportunity, you could basically appear for interview, but then you have to find a way to maintain status. Yung iba naman, nag-apply ng student visa while waiting for their priority dates to be here.
Okay.
But with the stricter enforcement now, I think the best way is you could attend for the interview, but then go out and wait for your green card or immigrant visa outside the U.S.
Meron bang mga industries na mas likely na makakakuha ka ng working visa?
Yes. Nowadays, basically that's the teachers and the nurses.
Ah,
So,
okay.
a
Workers.
tourist visa would entitle you to 6 months.
6 months initially, yes.
Initially, di ba? So, within that 6 months, pwede mong i-maximize
Correct.
or pwede kang umuwi after 1 week.
Or you could extend for another 6 months.
Now, may extension period. But you have to apply for the extension not from the country of source ng visa or sa
Doon.
US na mismo?
Sa US na mismo.
Doon na mismo?
Yes. And your chance of being approved of the extension is higher than applying for a visa outside the US.
Okay.
Okay.
Pero
That's a good
do
tip.
you have to apply for the extension
Ang daming tip
before
dito,
yung
It
original expires? Paano kung nag-expire na? Do you still have a remedy?
You already lost of status then. So again, that's I think pag tourist visa ka, you have to remind yourself to maintain status, right? So
Okay.
again, nandoon pa rin yung ruta mo na to extend and you have to file that before the visa expires
Question
or
lang po.
change status.
Question, you get a student visa.
Uh-huh.
Is that, you have to renew that every year?
Hindi naman. Kasi sa ngayon, there is a duration of stay. But then there is a
Okay.
proposal to limit it to 4 years.
Yes. So, kasi may mga alam po akong kaso na may student visa siya, nag-aaral siya, and working at the same time.
That's unauthorized daw.
Unauthorized.
Generally speaking, that's unauthorized.
Student and working at the same time
Yes.
is not allowed.
But let me qualify that. For the degree courses, so halimbawa bachelor's degree
Yes.
and so on. So there's we call the OPT and the CPT. So parang on-the-job training natin.
Yes.
But that's only available after first year.
After first
Right?
year.
And so then you're allowed. So you can apply for a work permit. But without the work permit and you're working, then that's unauthorized work.
You
One last
mentioned
point,
sorry.
one last point regarding work.
Sige.
Sa US kasi, yung mga universities minsan provides jobs for students like library, canteen,
Yes.
or even outside of the campus, yung mga kainan doon eh.
Yes.
So, as long as you do that after a year, you should be fine.
And you were actually given the work permit, yes.
So in other words, you still have to apply for the work permit even inside the campus?
Yes. And the designated school officer facilitates that.
Okay. Para klaro lang, di ba? Walang shortcut talaga.
Walang shortcut
in other
talaga.
words, okay.
Ano, you mentioned earlier na the tourist visa can actually be extended pag pa-expire na. Ano yung mga grounds for
Expired na o pa-expire?
Pa-expire.
Yes.
Ano yung mga grounds that you can rely on?
Yeah, because I haven't covered the whole state yet because again, kasi may mga host ka, di ba? And then yung mga host mo working and then they can only accommodate you over the weekend. So, I haven't been to Las Vegas yet.
Okay.
So, they're allowed naman, right? So,
Allowed
pag
yan.
nag-apply ka ng extension, what the government is interested in is, number one, wala kang mga post nga anti-American.
Okay.
Second, that you have the financial ability to support yourself during the extension. And third is, meron ka pa ring mga documents that you are still maintaining foreign address.
Okay.
So, hindi advisable na dahil nasa US ka na, pang-cancel mo na yung bank account mo, and so on. You still have to maintain that.
You mentioned about not posting anything on social media. Yung mga kalaban ng US ngayon, Iran. Yung mga leaders ng Iran, their children are in the US. Di ba?
Yes.
So, just recently, pinapakancel ni President Trump yung mga status ng mga to because they're posting.
Correct.
So, that's what you are referring to.
Yes, even the
Okay.
students now are actually the target area kasi nga may
Okay.
mga anti-US government posts nila.
Yes.
And they're using that to really deport or cancel their visas.
Okay, so punta na tayo sa tough questions.
Okay,
Ito yung
tough
may
question.
portion kasi kami dito where we ask, well, I suppose tougher questions.
Tougher, yeah.
So, mauna.
Sige, is the American dream still alive?
Yes, I would say. If your purpose is to job opportunities and so on, yes.
Even under different administration, that remains not just a dream, but it can be a reality.
Yes.
It will become a reality. Okay.
Kasi admin naman, temporary lang naman magpapalit naman.
Okay. Would you still encourage Filipino families to pursue U.S. immigration, or do you think they should consider other countries first?
I would still say US is still a good one.
Okay.
Question now, between the US and Europe, it's not I'm asking you to favor one.
Yes.
But in terms of immigration
why?
policies, which is lighter or easier to be able to go in?
I would say the US is actually a tougher immigration process, but I'm a little bit biased, right? So I would still promote the US. Though.
But for Filipinos who would want to work abroad, in terms of profession, ano yung mas madali para makapasok, at least in both countries?
I think mas mabilis outside kasi other countries are using the points system, which the US doesn't use that. So even with yung mga nurses natin, they are still waiting their priority days. We advise them na magtrabaho ka muna sa ibang bansa while waiting for your priority days.
Okay. And these particular courses are healthcare,
Healthcare,
education.
mas mabilis, yes.
Too many lawyers already, so it's harder.
But the lawyers are doing their self-petition though for the national interest waiver.
If you will have the opportunity to change just one U.S. immigration law or policy tomorrow, what would it be?
I will speak on behalf of the J1 teachers though. Ito yung tinatawag nila na the exchange visitor program, right? So they enter into the J1 visa, they promise that hey, they are going back to the US after 5 years.
I had a J1 visa
the
when I
J1
was there.
visa, right? But I think life circumstances change though. They get married, they have US citizens. And the problem is they are required to go back home 2 years, but wala naman talagang promise na meron silang job na mababalik with also a number of new teachers coming in. Other countries actually just approved the no objection statement. If the government could actually reconsider that, then I think that would help.
Question na po, you're visiting the Philippines today. How long will you be staying here?
So normally I stay 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
1 month the most.
Okay.
All right. And then twice a year as much.
So you're leaving very soon?
Next week, yes.
Okay, so pwede ho ba, request lang ho sa inyo, batiin nyo lang yung mga kababayan nyo po sa Davao City.
Okay.
In Bisaya is fine.
So, yung mga kababayan ko sa Davao Oriental, good morning po. Right? taga New York din.
Proper talaga di...
Wala. And you know, we are inspired by your story. Congratulations sa inyo po. Congratulations sa pamilya nyo.
Thank you.
For a job well done.
Yeah, yung mga staff ko nandito pala to support, so thank you.
Okay. We'll have a picture with them later.
Sige.
So,
Thank you for
maraming
having
salamat
me.
po, Atty. Nick.
Salamat.
Maraming salamat po. Sorry po. Very interesting topic. I'm sure that the Filipinos are watching now, not only here, but outside of the Philippines. So, we hope to see you again next time.
Next time.
Yes po.
Okay.
Okay, as Bilyonaryo News Channel expands its reach in Central Luzon, the delayed telecast of the spokes can now be seen at CLTV from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. just before Agenda. I'm former VP spokesperson, Atty. Barry Guttierez.
I say it the way I see it. Sa mga kababayan ko sa Pangasinan at Central Luzon, magkita-kita po tayo araw-araw sa CLTV. I'm former Secretary Hernani Braganza po. And we are the Spokes!